Denzel Taylor back on the floor.
And I was looking at the rebounding stats. Windsor staying in the game here despite being down 4 in the rebounding stats, which is their season average. They are at least by rebound differential per game wise, the worst rebounding team in the league as well. They don't get a lot of offensive boards, and they are near the bottom in the league in defensive rebounds as well. So that's a spot where Moncton will look to take advantage of them tonight.
Jones shoots 84% from the free throw line on the regular season. Looking to get this second one, and he bangs it off the rim, but gets it to drop. So 1:05 to go, and we've got a 1-point game, 19-18. A close one here in the opening quarter. Gentry Thomas blows by, hands it to Denzel Taylor, who just goes up and puts it through.
Yeah, and that's what Denzel, he's been more explosive around the rim lately as he's got it. The other day down in Cape Breton was tremendous, getting those screen rolls and finishing his free throws. So good signs for Moncton as he rounds into form towards the end of his regular season, and good defense on Patillo.
And Patillo, when Denzel first was getting into that defensive stance, Patillo just kind of gave the big swat with the arm, and Denzel, to his credit, stayed right there, kept the defense on.
Yeah, it's a tough call to go against Denzel, and there was the next words out of my mouth. This is the one issue with Denzel, is being able to play 25 to 30, 25 minutes that Magic want him to be on the floor, because he inevitably has 2 fouls and got to be subbed out. Or 3 fouls midway through this, and then got to be subbed out. Or 5 fouls at the beginning of the fourth quarter. This is a pattern we've seen a lot the last 5-6 games.
Patillo, 65% from the line on the air. Pretty good trip there. And Gentry Thomas flies in. Little putback attempt by Denzel Taylor. Gets the feed from Wayne McCullough. An easy one that time. But Denzel Taylor, again, just camped out underneath the basket, Dave, and nobody really challenged him.
Achilles heel. Give up another offensive board to the Express.
Last 13 seconds. Shot clock is off. 4-point lead for the Magic. Jones with the ball in his hand, being watched by Thomas. Patillo with the screen, and he'll get it right back. Kicks it over on that side, and the shot out of the hands of Tyrell Tate is good. And Tate has been very good for the Windsor Express this season, averaging 14.8 a game, and he gets a bucket there to close out the opening quarter. So
one of the things that he has said to me is that he has to get more athletic defensively, and his shot. He's at the stage right now where he's got to hit his shots. And one of the things that Ryan Anderson, who's really taken him under his wing, said, Daniel, with a shot like yours, you've always got a job.
So we're going to let you stick on headset here for a second, do a little color commentary with us as we roll along, as that jump shot from Police is off the mark, and it'll be brought up the floor now by Anthony Otley Jr. Otley Jr., long and lean, gets challenged over on that sideline, and the ball goes out of bounds, and it's turned over, and Moncton pushes the pace quickly. Lead pass for McCullough, flies in, goes to the right hand, the hoop, the Herm, McCullough will go to the line. Now, you can't be too biased, because I know you're an Express dad, but your thoughts on that last sequence?
Well, just outstanding. Again, too many turnovers, I think, by Windsor, because of the length and athleticism of the Magic. And right there, like the score is 25-22. In my opinion, it's low scoring because I think Magic are going to heat up a little bit, and they're dominating the boards, and they got to do a job on that.
So McCullough at the line, a 68% shooter on the air, completes the three-point play, and the lead for the Magic now up to 4. Just underway here in the second quarter. Scott Squires with you, my broadcast partner Dave Tingley, getting to take a break for a moment. He's over chatting to the third member of our crew, Kate Walker, and we are joined on the broadcast by Chris Dooley, father of Daniel Dooley, rookie with the Windsor Express. Here's the big man, Patillo. His shot a little bit too strong. Denzel Taylor, the Minister of Defense, grabs the defensive glass and puts it into the hands of Gentry Thomas. Speaking of rookies, he's a rookie with this squad. And there's Freddie McSwain Jr., the former Indiana Hoosier, and McSwain, who has really polished up the outside game, hits the jump shot.
They got length and shooting ability from outside. The stretch fours all over the place.
McSwain up to McCullough. McCullough lowers the shoulder, goes around Anderson, takes it inside, goes up against Walker, and the shot was no good. Now, long pass up ahead. Patillo goes underneath Taylor and then scoops it with the right hand. Nice move by the big man.
Yeah, Patillo's been a good scorer all year for them. That elbow jumper that he just missed before, he normally hits that, but they need him to score, get going.
Gentry Thomas now, Moncton with the 4-point lead. Thomas, little right-hand scoop shot, and the putback by McSwain. The high flyer underneath. Freddie McSwain He's tough to handle when he gets position underneath the basket.
Just can't handle that length. Like, they've got everybody climbing the offensive boards, and it's very impressive, this Moncton team. First time I've seen them live this year.
Well, we're glad to have you here, checking them out live. Glad to have you on the broadcast as Tate tries to cut inside, and Moncton thought they had the strip, but I think the call is going to go against the Magic, much to the dismay of head coach Joe Salerno.
Yeah, the 2,000 referees in the stands thought it was different, but great crowd here tonight, by the way. It's very impressive.
An excellent crowd here on a Tuesday night final regular season game for the Moncton Magic, and warmly, he gets called for the travel.
That's 3 possessions in a row they've turned the ball over, and against a team like Moncton, you just can't do that. And I like the way Moncton is feeding off these turnovers.
Now, you mentioned the crowd here. I know it's your first time, obviously, being in Moncton to see this team play here live, but your thoughts on the Avenir Center, a brand new building?
Beautiful. We came around here this afternoon seeing where we were going and everything, and just very impressive facility.
And Walker thought he had the clean block as McSwain flew in, and Walker just walking up the court, shaking his head at that call. Walker still shaking his head.
Too much refereeing done by the players. Let the refs be good or bad, whatever, just do your jobs.
You are a good replacement for Dave Tingley. That pretty much is a comment that Dave would have made as well.
Dave's my role model.
He is for many. 9:33 to go, just a couple of minutes into this second quarter. 32-24 as Moncton tries to stretch out that lead a little bit. So from your perspective, what has been the thing that has stood out to you most this year about this Windsor Express side?
They're very, very talented, but they sometimes they don't play together as a unit. And when they play like a unit, they're spectacular. But sometimes it gets a little bit, the ball gets stuck. And if the ball gets stuck, they're easier to defend.
And typically not getting stuck with the ball is Jason Caliste, and he's Mr. Cathreist right there with the three-point shot. 35-26. Largest lead of the game at 9. Patillo, short-range jump shot, no good. Tap-back attempt there from Walker. 3 defenders around Walker, and he couldn't corral the ball. McSwain pushes the pace. Nifty little back pass to Gentry Thomas. He steps back, lost the handle. McCullough, though, saves the day. Goes to the left hand, off the glass, and in McCullough with the good heads-up play to kind of save the bacon of Gentry Thomas there.
Hustle points like that, hustle plays like that, that's why you win. That could have been Windsor's ball. Instead, it's 2 points for the Magic.
And Terrell Tate flies in. I know Tate, a player that you like very much, Chris. You were talking to me about him earlier.
Very athletic, and he shoots the ball. I think he's third in the NBLC in three-point shooting, percentage-wise.
Foul call there as Moncton charged into the basket. So we'll see what the call is here. And DeAndre Thomas, he's been very vocal all game long. He has been definitely letting his feelings felt. And now looks like we've got a technical being called on the Windsor Express, and it's going to go against that player we were just talking about, Tyrell Tate.
So many technical fouls. I really like DeAndre Thomas, but he gets a lot of technical fouls. You gotta just let it go. Let it go and play. Referees are good, referees are bad, but don't add to it by hurting your team with technical fouls.
So we'll try and listen in here. The referee was over having a chat at the table. So 8:29 to go here in the second quarter. And Windsor letting their emotions kind of get the better of them here as Terrell Tate picks up a technical foul. DeAndre Thomas still having some words with the referee over on the far side. And now Tate is going to head over to the bench as Coach Bill Jones from the Windsor Express now I think he's just trying to calm the waters a little bit there.
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting, though, that they're starting to pull away because Windsor isn't scoring. They've only scored 4 points this quarter. I think it's 14-4.
So 38-26. And it is 15-4. That is your score here in this second quarter. And it's now a 12-point lead. McSwain looks to make it 13. Can't get the first one to go. So Freddie McSwain at the line. He's a 63, almost 64% shooter on the year. But this 12-point lead, the largest of the game for the Moncton Magic. This is one of the better, more complete first halves that the Magic have had at home in quite some time, Chris. They typically kind of get themselves into a bit of problem and then dig themselves out in the third and fourth quarter. So I'm sure the fans glad to see Moncton with the 12-point lead as trying to take it underneath was Anderson. He couldn't get it to drop for him, though, and Freddie McSwain gallops up the other way, takes it all the way himself. Freddie McSwain Jr., coast to coast, gets the tough finish.
They're just running right at them. They're challenging them to cover, and Windsor's got to respond to this run big time.
So 8 minutes to play here, and another turnover. Great interior defense. Bounce pass. Lewis Thomas left-handed in, and Coach Bill Jones wants a timeout and wants to talk it over. And that is our media timeout, so we're going to send it off to a break. 41-26. So I want to really thank
Wayne McCullough. You go down the list, and they have a little. They definitely have that size advantage, and that helps them in the transition. So good color by my replacement.
Yeah, he did a really good job. But again, I missed you, but I'm glad you're back. So here we go. 7:43 to go in the half. 43-26 Magic. Putting a little separation between themselves and the Express. Patillo tries to change that and can't get that one to go. Here comes Gentry Thomas again. His parents in the building. He's trying to light it up. Here goes to the right hand. Patillo flies in and read that perfectly and takes care of business there, did Patillo.
Yeah, it was a wonderful rotation there by Juan. Give credit where it's due. He did a great job. And Freddie McSwain's been an animal defensively as well as offensively. Forcing a travel there out of the big guy down low and back to Moncton. And the turnovers piling up a little bit here for Windsor as well. Up to 10 turnovers here already.
And that was something else that Mr. Chris Dooley commented on, was the turnovers being committed here by the Windsor Express. That wide open jump shot rattles around the iron, pops out, and it's rebounded by Patillo, and the Windsor Express will bring it up the floor. Here's Jones. Jones had a really good start for Windsor. 6:52 to go in the half. Warmly dishes it inside to Jones. Bobbled it for a second. He'll settle it now, throw it right back to Warmly. Gentry Thomas on him. Screen run by the big man Thomas. I don't know what you do when Thomas comes out to run a screen on you. That jump shot from Ryan Anderson was off the mark. Fresh shot clock for the Express. 6.5 to go as Warmly takes it in strong, and he'll go to the line and shoot a couple.
And Coach Turner loved the matchup of Gentry Thomas against either Jones. Particularly, he mentioned Jones, but you knew at some point he'd probably rotate onto Wormley too. Love that matchup defensively. But a good job there by Horace. He can't hold the gingerbread man down for a full game, and that was a really nice crossover he put on G and finished. He's at the line now. Try to cut into this lead a little bit.
So here is Mr. Wormley at the line. Horace, almost 90% from the line, so as close to a sure thing as you can get shooting free throws. 14-point lead for the Moncton Magic. Gentry Thomas working on Wormley. There's the screen from Indondo. Wormley stays with it, though. Corey Allman back on the floor now, gets it up to Billy White. Little handoff to Corey over Anderson. Off the back of the rim, rebounded by DeAndre Thomas. He throws it ahead to Wormley. Wormley, he'll just stop now and get set up in the half court. Wormley gets it over to Jones. He'll just launch it from way outside. Off the mark. Rebound by Billy White. White surveys the floor. Lost the handle for a moment. Easily regathers, though. He'll take it into Anderson. Now spin move, Wiener. Tricky, difficult-looking shot there. There's one thing with Billy White. There's nothing conventional about him. He'll almost launch it from anywhere. And his body position on that one, the last thing you think is conventional with that.
And it doesn't matter if he's got a guy like DeAndre Thomas matched up on him, Juan Patillo, or Ryan Anderson on a switch. I mean, Ryan's a really good defensive player and does a good job on guys much smaller than himself and Billy White. But Billy's got that herky-jerky style that's tough to contain. And when he's being super aggressive, the more aggressive Billy is, the more effective he is. And that's a good sign, a good trip to the line for Billy.
Yeah, Billy feeling good here down the stretch for the Moncton Magic. Here's Wormley right into three defenders in Dondo. Swatted it away, but the whistle blew before then. And Horace Wormley goes down, and Billy White. Those are a couple of veterans that I'm sure know each other well. And Billy goes over quickly to help Horace up off the deck.
Yeah, just a really smart play by Wormley. He got kind of around the angle on G, and even though G's straight up, Horace knows he jumps in, gets his body into G's. He knows he's going to get that call, and sure enough, another foul on Mr. Thomas.
45-30. Wormley from the line sinks that one. So the lead back to 14. 5:40 to go. Wormley keeping a close eye on Thomas, and Dondo is there, trying to run a little interference for G. Thomas over to Corey Allman, lost it on the sideline, and it's turned over. Anderson up ahead to Patillo, and you knew that was coming, but Patillo, the one-hand tomahawk, jams it down. You knew that was coming, Dave.
Yeah, he's Billy White didn't even bother. You're either going to catch up to him and foul him or give him the dunk.
Hey, what are the chances we can get Patillo and McSwain and maybe Marcus Lewis to have a slam dunk contest at the half?
Yeah, see, I think Patillo would do the same thing as Freddie has done. They would just defer to Marcus on that. He's the fancy dunker. These guys are in-game dunkers more than fancy dunkers.
DeAndre Thomas, Indondo, does a good job of keeping position and putting the hands up. Thomas right back the other way. And say what you will about Juan Patillo, it's just fun to watch him, whether he makes a great defensive play or not, just the effort and the air that he gets. Kind of as I've talked about with Freddie McSwain Jr. for the Moncton Magic, whether he's going for an offensive rebound, a defensive rebound, trying to get a block. It's fun watching those guys get up in Patillo. And now, well, have the Windsor Express talked themselves into a technical again? I think they have.
They have. And Juan Patillo was coming over to Ryan Anderson and DeAndre Thomas to say, get the heck out of there. You've talked enough. And the referees gave them plenty of chances to get out of their face about the call. And it went nowhere.
So the Windsor Express, they've certainly been expressing themselves from the get-go here on the road in Moncton. And they've picked up a second technical. That's going to send Corey Allman to the line now. And when you're battling for a playoff position and you're on the road and you're coming off a loss, you don't want to really hinder your cause by picking up technicals like that.
Yeah, and I think, and Ryan Anderson's pointing at the scoreboard, I think, a little bit, saying, the foul differential. But, I mean, look, if you're playing, and the Magic are playing a more aggressive game so far. And I haven't seen any way that you can differentiate the whistle. I've had a couple of gripes with a couple of fouls against Mr. Taylor here. I've had a couple of gripes. Like they could have, I don't think the whistle is the reason for the now 15-point deficit here for the Express.
4:54 to go. 48-33. 15-point lead. Moncton has had this double-digit lead for quite some time. Windsor trying to find an answer here, but so far they've been talking themselves into some technicals. I've got to settle it down here. Warmly, a veteran, he can do that, as is Ryan Anderson. Anderson, nice pass to Jones, open for the jump shot. Lewis tried to get there, but again, the pretty finish out of the hands of Jones.
And that was smart by that time by Wormley. The initial attack, the initial screen roll was cut off again. The Magic's done a really good job of that. Either Denzel Taylor, Joel Ndondo, Billy White, they've all done a good job jumping out of that, and they've had problems moving it out of that screen, that first pass, but that was much more effective. A very quick pass for a wide-open three.
Billy White now stopping, hesitating, then launching the three-point shot right over Juan Patillo. Billy feeling it from outside.
Super confident tonight is Billy.
Very much so. Got that Vegas swagger going, does 23 in White, Billy White. And Patillo sucks up his own miss and just jams it down with authority.
And just a bad bounce. There was a lot of really good initial defense by Billy. Just kind of a tough bounce there. Bounced right back to Patillo for the finish, but well defended there.
Under 4 to play. Billy White now up high to Corey Allman. 51-38. That is your score. Moncton in the lead. Billy now goes to the left hand, dribble penetration, then kicks it out. McCullough steps around the defender. Marcus Lewis is open, not enough on the shot. Look at McCullough scoop up that rebound, steps inside, up and in. Wayne McCullough putting on a show, and it's turned over. Corey launches, yes! Corey Allman forces the turnover, launches the triple, and he's getting the fans into a frenzy.
Corey sets the moment and sees that he knew the reaction that he'd get from the crowd. If that one went down, a little risk reward for Corey, and he's rewarded.
Ockley Jr. trying to answer back, and he tries to quiet this raucous Avenir Center crowd. Here's Billy White now, back the other way. The Moncton Magic wanting to clinch first overall in the NBLC right here tonight on their home court. 56-40, 16-point advantage as Howard Jr. gets set to check back into the game.
sure where Brad was able to foul anybody there. Brad playing with a bit of a, we call jumper's knee. A lot of pain in his knee. He says his body's telling him, hey, okay, Brad, it's time to jump off the floor for that rebound, for that dunk, for that finish. And his body ain't cooperating right now.
Look at Wormley.
There's another example there. Brad would normally cut that off. You can see, Scott, he's running up the floor. He's limping on it. Pretty bad, even just a couple minutes in on the floor. So he's gutting it out.
He sure is. The native of Bathurst, New Brunswick. New Brunswick guy playing in his home province. Gutting it out indeed. And he wants to be part of this effort tonight to see if they can clinch first overall. Look at Billy White now. Backing down Patillo. Strong move inside Billy White. A man possessed, Dave.
Yeah, and he's just not being stopped. And he loves, Billy relishes these matchups against other guys that are considered bigger stars that can fit into those roles that they're comfortable with. That's going to make Moncton a very tough out and a favorite probably as we roll into the playoffs.
So on offense now, it's the Windsor Express. Wormley, he's been good in this one. Swings it over to the big man Patillo. We've seen that Patillo-Taylor 1v1 matchup all night. Patillo again. Taylor staying right with him. Patillo bangs Taylor. Taylor stays with him. Patillo, little step back at the shot clock buzzer, and he hits it. Smooth jumper from the big man.
Can't do anything about that. 7 for 18 is one on the night for 16 points, and that's it's been Denzel just bother him into those shooting numbers.
Here's Billy White now. Little left-hand pass to Lewis. Quick pass to Calise. Right back to Lewis. 7 on the shot clock. Jones guarding Lewis. Lewis just steps the back a little bit. Shot too strong. Tate with the rebound for the Windsor Express.
Good defense from Jones.
20-point advantage for the Moncton Magic. Jones all the way over to Wormley. Corey Allman watching Horace. Horace steps around him, floats it in, goes right to the bucket. Horace Wormley, and he's going to go to the line, Dave.
And Coach Slerner is not happy with the closeout there by Corey Allman, and he shouldn't be. He blew by Corey. Corey got him on the reach. And Gentry Thomas is coming in to replace him, and Billy White's going to have a seat, and Freddie McSwain, who was tremendous in his limited minutes in the first half.
So Freddie back out there now, wearing 35 in white for the Magic. Denzel Taylor on the floor as well as Jason Cleese, Gentry Thomas, and Marcus Lewis. That's your 5-man unit for the Moncton Magic. Juan Patillo, Horace Wormley, DeAndre Thomas, Terrell Tate, and Chris Jones, your 5-man unit in red for the Windsor Express with 3:42 to go here. Third quarter, Gentry Thomas baseline to Calise, and in his face, but Calise is Caprice. No problem for Jason.
Gorgeous play. And that's what Gentry has not been a super efficient scorer tonight as he has been recently, but he's made all the right plays, and that was a supremely good pass on target to his backcourt mate. And there was some discussion going on after that one, Scott.
Well, again, it was DeAndre Thomas making his feelings felt to the official, and it was Juan Patillo who kind of walked back towards DeAndre and was kind of like, DeAndre, let's just keep playing ball here.
Looks like they gave a dead ball foul to Denzel Taylor, did they? Is that why he's been taken out? I didn't hear a call on that. Denzel's out of the game. Maybe it's just regular rest. I thought maybe it was a foul call, but no, they're just calming things down, looks like.
Wormley from well outside. Horace Wormley. Cold-blooded right there with the long-range jump shot. 3:16 left to play, quarter 3. 89-72, and Ndondo, maybe too much time, fights for the rebound. Nobody around Joel Ndondo, and he is talking to himself.
He is. He could have put it down and dunked it. Because Joel, he couldn't believe how wide open he was on that pocket pass from Gentry Thomas.
And Freddie McSwain comes over and gives Ndondo a swat on the hip and says, let's go, big man. You're all right. Step to the line, knock these down.
Knock down the 2, and it's all is forgiven.
Ndondo, just under 70% free throw shooting on the year, and hits that first one.
I think that's a matter of he just couldn't believe how wide open he was on a simple pocket pass from Gentry. And Gentry, where's my assist, man?
Yeah, sometimes these guys, when they have too much time to think about it, it's not as good as when they have to do it in a blink of an eye.
All is forgiven. 2 for 2 from the line for Joel.
Ndondo, one of those valuable pickups for the Moncton Magic after the season got going, and he has been great for Moncton all season long, playing really valuable minutes for Coach Joe Salerno.
Yeah, it's been great. How great is it to have a couple of really unselfish, tough Canadians at the end of your bench like Ndondo and Brad States to go to give you quality minutes.
And Terrell Tate takes the ball in strong, and they're going to get the foul on Wayne McCullough.
And Tate, a former member of the Moncton organization as well. It was a miracle in this town for a couple of years. And he was a fan favorite.
And now Aaron McDonald, the interim coach of this Windsor Express side, having a chat with, guess who? DeAndre Thomas. And I say interim coach, and we'll finish that thought when we get another break here in a moment. We'll talk a little bit about the head coach of the Windsor Express, Bill Jones. But it's Aaron McDonald running the ship on an interim basis here with Bill Jones with an extended absence. 2:43 to go. Here's McCullough. Steps inside, goes to the left, floats the shot up, couldn't get it to go. Nice move by Wayne, just couldn't get the finish. And now Otley Jr. will bring it up against Wayne. Here's Otley Jr. tries to back into Wayne now. All kinds of awkward-looking dribble there from Otley Jr., but he keeps control. Now feeds it to Patillo. Juan, top of the key, long arcing shot off the mark. McCullough grabs the rebound. Jones hacked at him. And I think they're going to get Jones on the foul call, and, well, the face on Jones is like, what, really?
They could have got him on 3 or 4 before that. Referees will try to give you the benefit of a doubt if you're fighting for a rebound a little bit, but I think if Wayne had gathered that in cleanly, there wouldn't have been a foul call, but you got to give it to him in that situation, the ball out of bounds.
Gentry Thomas. And Jones with the poke away, and it goes out of bounds. And it'll be Moncton ball, but again, Jones, quick reflexes right there, reaching in on Gentry Thomas, who's pretty quick himself.
You can see why he got big minutes for a big-time program like Louisville.
McCullough.
Defense like that fit into Rick Pitino's plans, no doubt.
And he must feel right at home in the red, does Jones, Louisville, wearing that Cardinal red. McSwain Jr. calmly hits the jump
himself.
And nobody around him, Dave, and he almost had to do a second look to believe how open he was.
Well, I mean, that's, again, the Achilles heel of the Express. Finishing stops with rebounds.
And Jones from downtown answers right back and then looks towards the crowd and gives a shh.
Yeah, I think you should try that when you're a little closer than 17 down, Chris, but that's all right. I respect it.
Again, nobody around the jump shooters for the Magic. Thomas rolled that one around and out. Patillo back the other way. Nice move, Patillo, the big man with the deft move, scooping it underneath and around the defender.
Yeah, it's just supremely talented offense going against a pretty good defender, but Juan, that low crossover Nick Evans talked about.
Gentry Thomas too strong, and Dondo couldn't get position. McCullough there, though, to clean up the garbage and get the bucket off the defensive rebound.
Again, Windsor finishing possessions with a rebound is a problem.
Under a minute to play here in this third quarter. Jones again. My goodness, Jones. I can't believe how far he might have been in Windsor when he let that one go, and it drops for him.
And trying to flop for an additional one. Refs didn't buy it.
And Otley Jr. over on that sideline gets a little contact. So Windsor again trying to make a run here late in a quarter.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an issue, hasn't it? It's now, you can't mess around with a team as explosive as Windsor. You give them chances. Ryan Anderson still got some three-point shooting to do in this fourth quarter, no doubt. And Mr. Jones has gotten red hot here.
Yeah, Jones, I mean, when you feel the confidence, and that last three-point shot that he put up, that wasn't like out of desperation with a shot clock winding down. That was like, hey, I feel confident and I'm going to hit this.
Yeah, and he got aggressive here on this possession here, too, and Gentry Thomas not putting much of a fight, just kind of whacking him on the way by and giving him 2 shots at the line. And the way he's shooting right now, got to figure these are going to go down.
So Jones, he started strong in the opening of this game, and now he's coming on strong again here late in this third quarter for the Windsor Express. Jones now up to 23 points. And tack another one on for Mr. Chris Jones, who now is tied with Billy White for a game-high 24.
Yeah, we've seen it in this building. Smaller guards have gone off a little bit on the Magic recently.
12 points the lead. Magic trying to put this Windsor Express team away. Express won't go away. And McSwain, little turnaround, step back, jump shot is good. And now the lob to Patillo again, warmly feeding Patillo, who just hammers it down to end the third quarter. A human highlight reel, no doubt. Number one in red, Juan Patillo. The lead is 12, 98-86. Magic in front, fourth guy.
Did Coach Slater say before their trip to Ontario? So you'd love to see them secure it for other reasons other than just the advantage throughout the playoffs. The sooner they get it, the better. The sooner they can start resting guys.
And for as well as the Magic have played, and for as exciting as they've been, and for the lead being as big as it's been, up to 20 at one point, the Windsor Express hanging around here as we start this fourth quarter.
And a little bit of a change defensively here for the Magic as Thomas lays it in. You see, usually Wayne McCullough is the guy that's locked up on the most difficult backcourt mate for the opposing team, and they have gone to him on Chris Jones here to start the fourth quarter to try to limit his effectiveness a little bit.
So Moncton going to try to lock it down here in this fourth quarter. Corey Allman floats it up with the right hand and gets it to drop, and the Moncton Magic hit the century mark in points. They are now at 100 as we are not quite a minute into this fourth quarter. Warmly.
That's a tough finish by Corey.
And Warmly got himself in the air. No call. Now it's Patillo. He's been good. Soft to the left hand, and the big man, Juan Patillo, trying to put his mates on his back here and drag them back into this contest.
And he's engaged defensively, offensively. That's a difficult stop for him. He just has to get up in the air.
And then Dondo takes a nice feed from McCullough and lays it in, and then gives McCullough the old five and says, thanks, Wayne.
But again, they need stops at the other end. And just, it's a sieve inside for them a little bit of times.
And Warmly tries to go along the baseline, and he'll go to the line to shoot a couple. Want to give a couple of shout-outs to some fine folks that have interacted with us via Twitter tonight. Of course, Aaron Sanders, who handles a lot of the play-by-play for the National Basketball League of Canada back in Ontario, including the Windsor Express, I do believe, as well as the commish himself, Audley Stevenson, checking in earlier and giving us a shout-out for having our fantastic guest, Chris Dooley, on. Chris, of course, the dad of the rookie Daniel Dooley with the Windsor Express. We had a couple of more reach out to us on Twitter as well, Dave.
Yeah, our old friend Kathy at Helen to be happy. I'm not sure what Kathy's last name is. Kathy, what is your last name? I'd love to know this. You're a good follow, and I like following you as well as seeing you follow us on here. So she's watching. She's finished grocery shopping. She got in and turned us on.
I certainly hope that you got some form of ice cream for when we drop by later on.
And Francois LeBlanc's watching. He's a fan. He's been out here to the Avenir Center a couple times as Francois. So thanks for the listen. And yeah, so we got Coralie as always. Coralie Washkowski. I always think of Billy Crystal's character from Monsters, Inc.
Mike
Wazowski?
Mike Wachowski. So what are you trying to say, that she's one of the Monsters, Inc. people?
Listen, don't try to get me in trouble with Coralie.
But Monsters, Inc. are wonderful, though. That's what I'm saying. They're fantastic.
All right, well, I'm not calling Coralie a monster. That's why I want to be clear here.
They're family and fun. Here's McSwain now going into DeAndre Thomas, and Thomas just stands there and lets McSwain bounce off his chest, and then kind of looks down at Freddie McSwain Jr. and goes, want to try that again?
A little chit-chat going on still. This is kind of danger zone for the Magic here. 10-point lead only 10 minutes to go against a super explosive team who's finding their rhythm offensively.
Caliste puts it up, and he is going to get fouled, and he's going to go to the line, and he kind of launched that with the shot clock almost at zero, and it works out for him.
And that's just, I mean, you can't make that mistake if you're Terrell Tate. I know you're looking around going, I shouldn't have got the call, but it's tough to be that physical and that in his face with the challenge late in the shot clock against a very, very smart guy, Jason Caliste. He's going to know how to kind of maybe edge that elbow out a little bit, or that knee a little bit, or that shoulder to make a little bit more contact.
So Caliste comes into these free throws with 7 points on the night. This is his second trip to the line. Not quite 2 minutes off the clock here in this fourth quarter. The Moncton Magic with a stellar home record of 16-3 coming into this one. If they can finish off tonight being 17-3 at home, they will clinch the number one seed and home court throughout the NBLC playoffs. And Dave, I know you and I hope it's a long run.
Yeah, I mean, the more I get to be in this building watching this in this environment, and the crowd's getting bigger as the season draws to a close. You know the playoffs are going to be a zoo in here, so
Caliste hits the second one from the line. 104-92. And we're having such a great game, we're not even going to go to break during the media timeout, Dave. We're going to keep it right here in the building and talk more basketball. And we had the word from above, producer Kent, letting us know that we can hang around and talk through the media timeout.
Oh, Freddie
McSwain, and he looks at his own bench and says, hey guys, look what I can do.
A transition pull-up three from Freddie. What don't you have in your game?
And Freddie and DeAndre Thomas exchanging words, and Freddie McSwain Jr. letting DeAndre know that he hears him and he's going to answer every time, says Freddie McSwain, as Patillo couldn't finish on the power move inside. Here come the Magic now. Freddie, dish to Denzel, back to Freddie. Soft up, bounce, won't go, and DeAndre grabs the rebound, and McSwain hits the deck.
Freddie is he just looks so active and springy tonight. I mean, loving it from Freddie tonight, and Denzel recognized it and said, give my man that ball back. And a clever little pass from Denzel, and Freddie's going back to the line, but just lots of chitter-chatter between Anderson and DeAndre Thomas and Juan Patillo and the bench of the Magic, and the refs, a couple refs over to separate them, but lots of hand slapping there for...
So Patillo out of the game. Chris Jones back onto the floor for the Windsor Express. And wherever you're tuned into NBLC Live tonight, we certainly welcome you here to the Avenir Center as Caliste puts up the jump shot. Fans of the Moncton Magic, fans of the Windsor Express, and basketball fans in general, we welcome you to the broadcast. Scott Squires, Dave Tingley with you. Kate Walker, the third member of our broadcast team. And going down to the floor, and that is not what you want to see if you're a Windsor Express fan, as Jones down.
I think he just banged it off the floor. I don't think it's, but no, yeah, he just banged it, so that's good. Now I had my heart in my throat there for a second. Thought he maybe, the way he grabbed at his knee, thought maybe it was something serious, but he just banged it off the floor. And he's going to go to the line for, are they giving him 2?
And that's 4 on Denzel.
I don't see that being a 2-point shot.
And Chris Jones has certainly been a dynamic performer this evening for the Windsor Express. 7 of 16 from the floor, including 4 of 7 from three-point range, 6 of 9 from the line as he steps in here, and 24 points to lead all Windsor scorers, make it 25.
Curious decision to give him shots on that, but...
.904 left in this fourth quarter. Moncton can sense the number 1 seed. Windsor trying to deny as Jones hits the second. So it is crunch time for both of these squads. Allman throws it to Caliste. A little toss back to Corey. Corey goes down into the left corner. Back to Jason. Jason over on the sideline gives it to Corey. And Corey with Anderson trying to close out. Corey shakes the head and says, no, you can't defend that.
So smart. Caliste waved him off because Freddie McSwain had a matchup in the post. And then when Ryan Anderson saw that wave off and shaded toward Freddie McSwain, Corey was smart and just faded to the top. Wide open 3, banged it in.
Off the Jones miss now. Moncton back the other way. Denzel soft puts it up. And DeAndre Thomas grabs the rebound, and now we had some contact.
More contact.
Marcus Lewis down to a knee, and Jones once again down on the floor. Thomas helping Jones up, and Marcus Lewis helping himself up.
Chris Jones, he ain't leaving anything on the floor tonight. Got to give props to Chris Jones for how hard he's playing. Man. He's not letting anything go, and Marcus Lewis and him got tangled up, but both just popped back up again. Couple tough guys.
Jones has been excellent, no question about it. So 13 on the shot clock here for the Moncton Magic. Wormley out on Marcus Lewis. Lewis spins away from Wormley. Denzel with the screen, and Lewis, the jump shot is good. Smooth stroke from 9 in white. Marcus Lewis.
He's so comfortable off the bounce on that pull-up.
Anderson answers right back. Ryan Anderson with a smooth stroke of his own.
I love watching him shoot, no matter what uniform he's in.
And he's having a friendly little chat with Freddie McSwain Jr. as he backpedals down the floor as Ryan Anderson. And then Corey, they're going to call that play down before, and they're going to click the foul. I'm not sure whose that's going
It's on Denzel.
That's 5 now on Denzel.
That's just a Moncton tradition. Denzel racking up the fouls.
Warmly, jump shot over top of Corey Allman, too strong. Jason Calise with the rebound. Calise will just slow it down now, 7:37 to go. Anderson out on defense. They tried to feed it inside. Nice hands there, coming in to grab it away, and then trying to go coast to coast.
They're going to call that on the ground.
It was good defense by Tate at one end, and then he tried to take it coast to coast and go all the way.
And a good idea from Calise there. Denzel had him pinned on his back, but just the length of the pass was too long, and Terrell Tate recognized it in enough time to get there.
So Calise comes out. A nice round of applause from the Avenir Center fans here. 7:32 left to go. It's 113-97. Moncton putting up the points there, and then the feed inside, and that is too easy for that big man underneath, Ty Walker.
Yeah, and that's where the big guys, where he can be effective, and he's had a decent game offensively for a guy who only averages 5 points a game, up to 8, but that's where he can be effective, and if he can do that, finish the screen and roll, and be a presence that they need inside defensively, then that's going to be where they need to rest their playoff hopes on.
So Tate checks out. Juan Patillo back onto the floor for the Express. 10 seconds on the shot clock for Moncton. Warmly watching Corey Allman. Corey now tries to penetrate inside with the dribble, but it's turned over. Warmly coming up. Little scoop over to Anderson from the corner. That would have been pretty had it gone, but look at Patillo battling underneath McSwain trying to swat it away. That is a exceptionally athletic battle. Are there two more athletic guys in the building than Juan Patillo and Freddie McSwain Jr.?
Again, Juan trying to be peacemaker between Ryan Anderson and Nate McCullough.
We're going to have to get Juan Patillo a United Nations jersey, keeping the peace out there. And now Ryan Anderson, John with Corey Allman. So now the fans getting into it here. And now the fans making their feelings known, Dave, to the Windsor players.
Yeah, and the fans are just saying, let's play basketball, and I completely agree. I mean, I don't know what the John is about.
And you may hear some of the fans coming through our mic saying, play some basketball, let's go. And this has kind of been a tone that was set early by the Windsor Express team, Dave. They seemed anxious to kind of dispute and chat about a lot.
And Corey, and Coach has talked to him about this before. Corey has a chip on his shoulder, and that's part of what makes Corey Corey. He works super hard, harder than anybody. There might be guys working as hard as Corey Allman in this league. Nobody's working harder. And that's part of the reason is he's got that chip on his shoulder. But what he's got to realize is he's a superstar at this level. He's a superstar in this league. He doesn't need to do a lot of talking. Let the scoreboard do the talking. Let the box score do the talking. Okay? And worry about the rest later. This is not a contest you need to win.
Nice feed from McCullough to McSwain. McSwain, nice move underneath. Gets his own rebound in a crowd. And then coming over to battle for it was Jones. And then Jones reaches in with a good sportsmanship tap on the thigh of Freddie McSwain Jr. So the Moncton Magic with the 113-99 lead, 6:42 to go in this fourth quarter. McCullough to inbound. Corey Allman from the corner to catch and shoot, and Corey, shimmy, Corey pop as he hits the triple again.
And good to see, kept the chatter to a minimum, as in 0 after that one.
And Jones tries to answer right back, and the long, rangy Walker has the rebound go right into his hands, and it gives it to Warmly. New shot clock here for Windsor. Nice bounce pass to Walker, and all he has to do is basically just lean in toward the basket and lay it in. So Ty Walker with a deuce right there in the lead, 15. And, you look at the scoreboard and you see the lead, 16, 18, 15. This game feels closer than that.
It does, because of how explosive Windsor is and how they've been scoring at a really good clip since the first quarter.
Billy White open on the sideline. Too short with that one off the left-handed stroke from Billy White. And Ryan Anderson will saunter up the floor. Feeds it to Walker. Walker lowers the shoulder, and they're going to say, no. That was a charge. Good positioning by Wayne McCullough underneath.
Wayne has got to have some sort of consideration for defensive
season with the Sudbury Five, and again, he's a candidate for MVP. So, but again, the announcement of Doug Plum, especially at this point in the season, but everyone's got to do what they got to do, and it'll be Coach Marcus for the edge down the stretch. 5.5 to go in this one. Billy White trying to back down Patillo. There's the two Vegas battlers, and Las Vegas Billy gets the better. Las Vegas Juan right there.
Yeah, and Billy's been quiet here for the last quarter or so, but he was really the guy for most of this game. And now Corey's matched up with Juan Patillo down here in the post.
And Patillo feeds Walker, who just follows in, and it is quite something watching Ty Walker around the basket. He's so long, and he's so athletic, and he's able to make moves. It seems so easy for him, and just swats that one away from Freddie McSwain. You don't see many guys do that to Freddie McSwain Jr.
No, you don't.
But again, Walker, he's long, he's lean, but he's also very comfortable in and around the basket. He just seems so at ease.
Well, look, he's at over double his season's average, though, tonight. Keep that in mind, Scott, with his 12 points. He's normally a 5.5 point a game guy, and so he's contributing a lot to them tonight. He's got at least 3 blocks. So I can't count. We don't have that running total for our DAX stats on these games, but at least 3.
And that ball tapped away. Billy White has it in his hands, feeds Corey Allman. 4:40 to go. Lewis back to Corey Allman. Ryan Anderson swats at it, but Billy steps around the defender. Patillo commits. This is to McCullough. Now baseline to Taylor, and Taylor gets it down, and Nick Evans up off the bench, loving what he's seeing from his teammates. 17-point lead for the Magic.
That's a lovely passing play. Lots of good shots given up for a great one there.
And Anderson misses. White rebounds. Corey, nobody around Corey off the front of the rim. Look who's there to get the rebound as Ryan Anderson has to foul him. But Wayne McCullough was right there waiting for that ball after the Corey miss.
Man, this has been a complete show by the Magic offensively for sure. Lots of guys to start as we get into this time of the game. Always, Scott, talking about players of the game candidates. We've got a ton. I mean, of course, Billy and Corey. Freddie McSwain's been incredible in his minutes, and Wayne McCullough has been just as good in his, and his value just ratchets up the more offensively he gives you, and he's got a pain look at his face after missing that free throw, but the more value he gives you offensively just ratchets up what he gives this team because he's so incredibly valuable defensively. Done most of the work on Ryan Anderson tonight.
Patillo takes the feed from Wormley, jump shot off, and a couple of Magic players there to rebound. They are just hungry for every loose ball right now, are the Magic. Lewis, baseline, tries to go up over the top of Walker. Walker wags the finger, says and then Anderson lobs it back the other way, trying to connect with Patillo. Patillo stays with it and gets it off the glass, but Walker underneath, taking care of business on the glass, and then looked over to Nick Evans and the rest of the Moncton bench and did the Matumbo finger wag, as it's not on that particular instance.
Well, again, it's, you can do your time. And he comes over and gives Marcus a 5, so that's a good sign. I think these guys are being pretty good-natured about it.
And Ryan Anderson now having a running conversation with, I'm not sure if it's the timekeepers or some of the fans in the Hollywood seats.
I think he's friends with everybody, Ryan Anderson. I mean, look, not a favorite of the fans here in the building tonight, but he was coming over. There are lots of warm conversations with Magic coaches. He had a good talk with Coach Todd McKillop for a while. He was talking to a couple of the front desk. So I think he's a well-liked guy. It's not well-liked by the fans in the building tonight, but...
Yeah, the Windsor Express, the all-chit-chat team here this evening at the Avenir Center. Lewis down to Billy White, who's been so strong all game. Billy, step-back jump shot over top of the defender, no good. Corey will try from the other side, rolls it around and down, and Corey looks at the fans and says, hey, let's raise a finger, let's raise a fist. We are that close to being the number 1 seed. 3:10 to go. Some of the fans yelling out, fear the beard, and they're not talking about James Harden. They're talking about our very own Corey Allman. As Jones makes the little scoot move inside.
That was a frustration one for Marcus Lewis and Coach Slater. Didn't feel like there was much there, but hey, Jones has been on the attack this fourth quarter. Look, Wayne McCullough, I want to talk a little bit more about him defensively tonight. For most of this game, he's been matched up with Ryan Anderson. And you look at Ryan Anderson's stats tonight. Not Ryan Anderson-like. 3 for 12 from the field. 3 for 9 from 3 for 12 points. Not his typical outing, shooting the ball. 5 fouls. And he's matched up with Wayne offensively and committed 5 fouls, and Wayne's had a tremendous game at that end of the floor. But the start of the fourth quarter, Chris Jones was on a wonderful run. Ryan Anderson started that quarter on the bench. And what did Coach Salerno do? Put Wayne McCullough on Chris Jones. And until that recent attack there, we hadn't heard from him in a little bit. Ryan Jones didn't get the ball where he liked it for those first few minutes of this fourth. Got him out of his rhythm a little bit. So invaluable defensively is Wayne McCullough.
And that's going to be 6 personals on Ryan Anderson as he pumps the fist and gives a bit of a sarcastic woo, I would say, as he goes over to the bench after fouling out. And we've talked all season, Dave, about the Moncton Magic defense and how very good it has been, and it has been. But how about the offense from Moncton in the last few games? 120 in a win over Kitchener-Waterloo. 104 in a win over St. John. 115 in a win over the Island Storm. 128 in a loss to Sudbury. 117 in a win just the other day versus Cape Breton. And 124 tonight with more to come. Khalees to Corey. Nobody around Corey here. It is Corey off the mark. And sometimes you give Corey too much time. He thinks about it too much.
The fans are in shock that was an air ball from Corey.
Jones kicks it over to the outside. Launching that shot was Miles Seward. We haven't seen a whole lot of Miles tonight. Number 3 in red for the Express. Yeah, but again, how about the Moncton offense? Really seems to be rounding into shape here.
Yeah, it really is, and that's good. I mean, look, it's all about pace of play sometimes, too. Defensively tonight, I think they've been really good. This is a lot of points to give up, more than their average. But it's all about pace of play sometimes, too, as Billy White drains another 3.
Billy White has found his stroke from outside the three-point line, adding yet another three-point threat, it would seem, to the Moncton Magic offense. Little dish from Jones to Patillo, who tomahawks it down again. Juan Patillo, you can't fault the effort from him tonight. No, he has been wonderful for the Express.
Yeah, offensively, he's been good, 27 and 13. But they're going to need, if they're going to make the playoffs and do damage in the playoffs,
Billy again off the side of the rim.
They're going to need Patillo and Walker and the rest of these guys inside to be lockdown defenders, as Denzel Taylor is at the other end for the Magic.
And Jawan, Royce White, Howard Jr. And I say that in case you're just joining us, you're wondering, Royce White had been on the roster, ended up not joining the team. Windsor put him on the IR. Jawan Howard Jr. just joining the team, flying in, seeing his first action tonight. The only jersey they had available was the Royce White 30. They had it taped and covered earlier.
Mr. Fernandez on the floor.
Well, there's the microwave. Let's see if we can heat it up. Number 1 on his jersey. Number 1 in our hearts right now, Mark Fernandez. Gets it into Indondo. 1:05 to go. That shot goes over top of the basket. Otley Jr. rebounds it now and gives it to Jones. And Dave, I think it's safe to say now, an Avonare Center kitchen party is going to break out here very shortly.
They're on cue for you. Attaboy.
Right on cue indeed. Whoever's doing the music tonight, thank you very much. And for the 17th and final time in the regular season, the Moncton Magic have gotten their duds in order, and they're going across the water. They have swept away the Windsor Express. Windsor heaved away here tonight, and the Moncton Magic will clinch the number 1 seed in the National Basketball League of Canada, and Joe Salerno will get his first seed ever and get his home court advantage throughout the playoffs for the first time in his NBLC coaching career. Just another notch in the basketball belt of Coach Joe Salerno, Dave.
Yeah, and Corey was up there giving some dap to the Hollywood Seat fans. Loving life is he right now. And, yeah, everybody's on their feet. And Freddie's going to finish off a good night of his at the line and bring round 2 of the music.
Well, and look who's on the floor, the rookie, his parents in the building. A nice move there by Coach Aaron McDonald to get Daniel Dooley on the floor And Juwan Howard Jr. takes it inside. But again, nice touch by the Windsor coach to get the rookie on the floor with his parents in the building. So there you go, Chris and Joy Dooley. Watch your son Daniel play out the last few seconds here.
And Fernandez is going to get a chance to get to the line and get some points here as well on the home floor, which he hasn't got a chance to yet. Get here a little hand from the fans here in his own building.
And how do you not love sports and all the stories? We've got Daniel Dooley, 5-year player from Guelph, seeing his first action tonight. His parents in the building, making the trip down from Burlington. Mark Fernandez, the practice player who has worked hard all season long, getting the hit points here, and hear the home fans cheering on the former St. Francis Xavier X-Men. How do you not love sports, Dave?
Yeah, it's been a pretty boring night all the way around, Scott, really, let's be honest.
And Fernandez,
2 for 2.
he is indeed. The final 15 seconds, Dooley dumps it off. Shot from the corner. Seaward, no good, and McSwain will have the ball in his hands, and that should just about do it. There it is, my friends. The final couple of seconds tick away, and your Moncton Magic have clinched